Hi, I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the September 25th, 2019 edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. I know that a few of you have already seen this, but we are re-recording because we realized that the connection was very bad and the video was very poor. So we are trying to redo it. So if you've already seen this about 5 minutes ago, then you don't need to rewatch it. Today, we're looking at the Epistle of Peter, 1 Peter 1, chapter 1, verse 2. He is writing to who he calls the elect. To God's elect, who have been chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through the sanctifying work of the Spirit, to be obedient to Jesus Christ and sprinkled with his blood. Grace and peace be yours in abundance. I want to talk about the word obedience there, because when we have been believers, when we have been, we're in the process of being sanctified, it is obvious that Peter believes we are to be obedient to Christ Jesus. Now, when you are under the authority, the rightful authority of somebody, maybe you're a minor child and you're under the authority of your parent or guardian, or in the workplace, when you are an employee, you are under the proper authority of your boss. As long as what they're asking you to do is moral and legal, you're obligated to do that. You are expected to, quite literally, obey. And even in situations where there's not the legal right to command, when you truly love someone, don't you try to do what they would like you to do? Don't you try to do what they're asking you to do? I'm sure I'm not the only parent who has ever had the talk with their child that obedience delayed is obedience denied. How many times have you had a child say, well, I'm going to get to it. Well, I intend to do it. Just another few more minutes. Instead of doing it on your time schedule, they want to do it on theirs. Excuse me. Is that true obedience? Well, I've had many a discussion with Tristan about that, I can tell you. But it's not just the speed with which people obey, but it's also the attitude. Again, if you've been a parent, you know there's the obedience that is. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I got a tickle in my throat. You know the obedience that is cheerful and happy and willing, and you know the kind that is grumbling, and that they're only doing it because you do have the authority to command them to do it, and they're trying to avoid perhaps punishment and uncomfortableness. In the Bible, God says that he likes a cheerful giver. And I think a lot of us think about that as being limited to giving money. But I think it has to do with doing any kind of obedience, giving of our talents, giving of our time, giving of our resources, be that money or otherwise. Do you do it willfully and cheerfully and happily, or do you do it grumbling and in a stingy manner? That's evident. Anybody can tell that. And certainly God, who can read our thoughts, knows that better than anyone else. So my question today is this: to all of us, are we obeying God first and foremost? And if we are we really obeying quickly and with the right attitude and happily and grateful? C.S. Lewis once talked about this and said, people think that time is their own. We always tell people, don't waste my time. The truth is, no time is ours. It really isn't. It's God's. God has given us time. We can't make one moment more of it. We can't make it go slower or faster than it actually does. And so if God were to walk into your room right now in a physical way and you recognized him as God, good and well, you would say, yes, sir, whatever you want, I'm happy to do it. But if God said, well, what I really need you to do is just go listen to that kind of boring lady who just needs you to sit and be a friend to her today, even though you'd be thinking, wow, this is I thought maybe, I'd have to go work really hard. All I got to do is listen to this kind of, boring lady talk to me. You would feel like, wow, what a God. That's all he wants of me right now. And later in the day, if God said, you know what, just go and entertain yourself, do whatever makes you happy, long as it's moral and legal, that's fine with me. You'd be like, wow, what a God, what a God. And yet that is the God that we have a lot of times. I mean, all the time, but sometimes it's more obvious to us than at others. Are we obeying? Are we obeying not just because of his authority, which is absolute and justified, but also out of real love for all that he has done, and the grace and the mercy and the love that he has given us? So just a little report card. Yes, you need to give yourself a report card. What grade do you and I deserve on the subject of obedience? I'm J. Lenore Bressler. Visit me on the next edition of the Bible. Delight in the details. Have a great day.